The gentleman's time has expired. I recognize myself for 5 minutes. Ambassador Tai, I'm concerned about the total lack of ambition from this administration on trade policy. It feels like we're asleep at the wheel while China and other competitors pursue an aggressive trade policy abroad that divides up the world's consumers for their farmers, manufacturers, and workers. Whether it be efforts to make trade woke or surrendering U.S. leadership on digital trade, the Biden administration has put progressive activists at the center of the president's trade agenda, all while creating a void that is allowing China to pursue an aggressive global trade that undermines our economic interests and national security. We need our tariff policy to make sense. I want to take a quick moment to highlight two companies with domestic manufacturing in my district. One is the Brunswick Corporation, the largest recreational boating company in the world. The other is ASO, the largest manufacturer of adhesive bandages in the United States, producing over 3 billion bandages a year. I will note with other colleagues, it was actually a letter Mr. Schneider and I did together. We sent a bipartisan letter to you on December 22nd, 2023 about Brunswick and the issues they're facing in my district and others. And the response from your office really didn't address the issues. We need action taken now. I will submit both the letter we sent, Mr. Schneider and I sent, as well as the letter that you replied with for the record. Back to these two companies creating jobs in my district. Both of these companies are major domestic job creators, yet have difficulty acquiring materials and resources in the United States, requiring them to acquire limited raw supplies from China to bring to our country to manufacture with U.S. jobs. For Brunswick, their competitors are all from Japan and not subject to these tariffs, but are put at an unfair advantage with foreign competition despite being the company creating jobs right here at home. For ASO, their competitors produce their bandages in China or Brazil and import products ready for distribution using the same fabric ASO does and are not subject to the duties and taxes placed on this U.S. company. U.S. policy focused on these companies hampers domestic production, potentially at the expense of American workers, while having little to no meaningful impact on addressing unfair Chinese trade practices. We must combat unfair Chinese trade practices, and I believe that targeting the recreational motor industry and medical supply industry within these efforts is an unintended consequence of that effort. I'm also very concerned about the global proliferation of digital services taxes. These taxes are clearly discriminatory and unfairly target U.S. companies. That is why I supported the Trump administration's Section 301 investigations. Given the discriminatory nature of these DSTs, I was very surprised to see the Biden administration unilaterally terminate these investigations, eliminating U.S. leverage without concrete assurances that discriminatory DSTs will be eliminated. I am now seeing concerned reports out of the European Union about a potential EU-wide DST, and Canada is pursuing its own unilateral DST. The Biden administration has failed to pursue aggressive action, and it's upsetting that you are just letting our U.S. companies be discriminated against. I believe you need to have new Section 301 investigations and use the tools that Congress has given you to show other countries their consequences for unfair trade practices. Like many of my colleagues, I believe we need to fully enforce the USMCA to ensure that American workers receive the full benefit of that agreement. One area where Mexico is falling short is the pharmaceutical sector. Mexico has yet to fully implement key commitments in the USMCA intellectual property chapter and continues to delay regulatory approval and therefore market access for innovative medicines. This not only undermines American jobs and exports, but makes it more difficult to strengthen medical supply chains in North America. USTR needs to use all tools necessary to bring Mexico into compliance with these commitments. I yield back the remainder of my time, and I recognize Mr. Moore.